Hi everybody, welcome to my channel where we do hard things because we are no longer slaves to fear. In today's episode, I'm going to continue with part 2 of Abraham's story. In the first part, we talked about how God called Abraham, how he journeyed through to Canaan, went to Egypt, the struggles that he met together with his wife Sarai, his journey and separation with Lot, who was his nephew, and the promises that God told him. God promised him that he'll have many descendants. He will give him Canaan, which they were now living as foreigners, but it will be inherited as their own. And God also told him, I will give you an heir, your own son. So now let's see. Has God fulfilled his promises? What is happening to Abraham's life? Abraham and Sarai have been in Canaan. No baby, so no heir, of course. And Sarai is impatient. She's just tired. Calls Abraham and tells him, Abraham, I don't think I'm going to get a baby. God has prevented me from having a baby. So I have this servant of mine called Hagar. You can take her so that she will have children on my behalf. Or rather, she can have children for me. And guess what? Funny enough, Abraham accepts. And I found that to be a bit questionable because remember, God has been appearing to Abraham and telling him, don't worry, I will give you many descendants. And just recently, he had been told, I will give you a son of your own. Believe me. Why is it that when Sarai came with that proposal, he should have told her, my dear wife, don't worry, we'll get a son of our own. God has told me. I don't know how that was working, but if we were in today's society, I believe it would have been proper to tell Sarai, my wife, don't worry, this is how God this is what God has planned for us. So anyway, Abraham takes Hagar and they sleep together and she gets pregnant. But voila, Hagar now, her attitude changes and she starts treating Sarai, her mistress, with contempt. Same, whatever happens in today's world. You find a husband, wife, and house girl. The husband falls in love with the house girl, gets her pregnant, and then all of a sudden, roles are reversed. The house girl starts mistreating the mistress or the owner of the house. That's exactly what happened. Hagar started treating Sarai with contempt. I'm sure she was saying, who are you? I am better than you. I have a child, imagine, and I'm just a servant. You cannot tell me anything. Sarai was so angry. Sarai was angry. Went to Abraham. Abraham, I gave you Hagar, my servant. You slept with her, but now see the way she has started treating me. Let us see to God. Let us see for sure. Is it me who made a mistake? Is it or it is you? And I feel Sarai. Why didn't Abraham not intervene when he saw that Hagar was not treating his wife with respect and honor? Why? But Abraham says, tell Sarai, she's your servant. You take her and do whatever you will decide with her. Sarai now says, okay, I have been given permission to do whatever I like. She starts mistreating Hagar. She mistreats her that Hagar runs away, still pregnant. You can imagine the amount of mistreatment she had to undergo. And I'm still wondering, where is Abraham while all this is happening? Why do you let all these things happen under your roof? I don't know, but Abraham should have should have been more upfront in solving this conflict. Hagar runs away to the desert on the road to Shur, sits by a spring of water, and the angel of the Lord sees her, appears to her, asks her, Hagar, aren't you Sarai's servant? What are you doing here? Where are you going? Hagar tells him, I am running away from my mistress Sarai. And immediately the angel tells her, Hagar, go back to your mistress Sarai and submit to her authority. When I read this, I was shaken. This is somebody who is mistreating her, and you're telling her to go back and submit. But then also I was thinking, what if Hagar went back, said she was sorry? Would it have made a difference? And why is the angel of the Lord telling her to submit to Sarai's authority? Sometimes you see people in situations, you don't know, God has probably placed them there for a reason. It's God's plan. You wonder, how is that even working out? How are these people even together? How is it working out? How is that person in that situation? But sometimes it is God's plan and we cannot understand how. I don't understand why Hagar is being asked to go back to Sarai. I wouldn't want to go back. The angel of the Lord goes on and he tells her, I will give you so many descendants, so many that you cannot count. And I can see that you're pregnant. Yeah, I see. You will give birth to a son and you will name him Ishmael, because the Lord has surely heard your cry of distress. You've cried so much, God will give you a son. Wow, what good news. I would be very happy at this point if I was Hagar. But wait a minute. Just hold on to those feelings of joy, because why is the angel of the Lord telling Hagar that this Ishmael, he will be a wild man and he will be as untamed as a wild donkey? I cannot fathom this. Why? He tells him that this Ishmael, he will be fighting everyone and he will not live at peace with his relatives. They will be living in open hostility. As a parent, this would break my heart. Why would you give me a son and then he would have to live in a society where he's constantly fighting with his family, his relatives? It would break my heart. Every parent wants to raise up a child who's lovable, who's nice. But Hagar doesn't complain. In fact, she calls on the name of the Lord and says, God, for sure, you're the God who sees me. She is amused that, am I the one who has seen the one who sees me? She must have suffered. For her to say these sentiments with no complaints, she must have truly suffered. And that well, after that, was called the well of the living one who sees me. So she went back and they had a baby, and as the angel had instructed, he was called Ishmael. Abraham and Sarai now have a son, Ishmael, through their servant, Hagar. It is now 13 years after Ishmael is born, and God appears to Abraham, tells him, Abraham, serve me faithfully and live a blameless life. I will give you so many descendants, so many that you cannot count. And in fact, you will no longer be called Abraham. You will be called Abraham, because you will be a father of many nations. This is the first time we see the name change from Abram to Abraham, father of many nations. God tells him, you will be the father of a multitude of nations, and I will bless you. You will be extremely, extremely fruitful. And from these descendants, there will be kings among them. How nice, how amazing. And God tells him, this is the covenant that I am making with you. And not only with you, I will continue to make it with your descendants and confirm it from generation to generation. And Abraham, remember this, I am your God. I will always be your God. And I will be the God to your descendants. I will still be the one. It really felt nice reading this. It's just, imagine that feeling you get when somebody tells you, or your partner or the love of your life tells you, I am here to stay. I will love you forever. Especially maybe when you're having a disagreement or you're not seeing things with the same perspective. And he or she tells you, Bilia, I am not going anywhere. I am here to stay. I am here to love you, and I will love you well. And you will see it through the actions all the time. Just so that you can know that I am here and I love you. Did you think that is, imagine God telling Abraham this? God truly loved this man, Abraham. Then God continues to tell him, now for you, the only thing you need to do is to keep the responsibilities of this covenant. And for that, I will require you and your household to be circumcised. And in that, circumcision means you remove or you cut the skin of your foreskin. You cut the foreskin, part of your foreskin. And this mark will be an everlasting covenant, or it will show the everlasting covenant that we have made together. On the 8th day, make sure all the males are circumcised. So Abraham at this time was 99 years, together with his son Ishmael and everyone who was in his household. They needed to be circumcised. And God doesn't end there. He remembers, I know. I've been telling you will have a son. So let me tell you about Sarai. She will no longer be called Sarai, but I am changing her name to Sarah, because she will be the mother of many nations. Woo. Sarai will be the mother of many nations, and now she has a name change, no longer Sarai, now Sarah. She will be the mother of many nations, and kings will come from her descendants. And I will bless her richly. Not just blessing her, I will bless her richly. There are those who are blessed and there are those who are richly blessed. That was Sarah. And I am telling you, through her, you will have a son. And in fact, you will name him Isaac. Abraham bows down, but in his heart, there's still some disbelief, or he's still wondering. He laughs and says, how am I going to get a baby at 99 years old? My wife, Sarah, is 90. How are you even going to have a baby? And because of that, he told the angel, please bless my son Ishmael for me. And I think he said that because somewhere in his heart he might have thought, if it is not true, if whatever words that I am being promised do not come to fruition, then at least my son Ishmael will have been blessed and I will have a generation through Ishmael. But God tells him, wait a minute, Abraham, you're not listening. I am telling you, your wife will give you a son and he will be your heir. Yeah, for sure, I will bless Ishmael as you have asked, but my covenant will be fulfilled through Isaac, through him and through his descendants. From generation to generation, I will keep reminding and making that covenant. That is God reassuring Abraham that indeed I'm going to give you a son. So the angel leaves, and then Abraham, together with his son Ishmael and all the males in his household, they get circumcised to fulfill the responsibilities of the covenant. Such an obedient man. We see that even if he has some doubts or some sort of disbelief, he still has so much faith and goes ahead to do whatever the angel says. Had he not this faith, I'm sure he wouldn't have done it, because why should I do it if it's not going to happen? But faithfully, obediently, he did it. One day, Abraham is just resting next to his tent. It's at the middle of the day, and he sees some 3 men passing by. Quickly, he runs to them, greets them, bows down to them and tells them, hey, I can see you're on your journey, but please, if you may, please stop here. I will bring you some water, you can wash your feet, and meanwhile, as you do that, I will go and prepare something good for you to eat before you continue with your journey. The 3 men agreed. Abraham is so happy, runs to wherever Sarah was and tells her, Sarai, quick, we have visitors. Go take some flour, bake some bread. And meanwhile, he dashes out, goes, kills a calf. They prepare the meal, and when it is ready, they bring the roasted meat together with some yogurt and milk, and they serve the visitors. And as they eat, he just waits under the trees. Sarah remains in the tent. And then one of the men asked Abraham, by the way, where is your wife Sarah? I don't know, sorry, I keep forgetting that her name has already been changed to Sarah. So yeah, one of the men asks Abraham, where is your wife Sarah? Abraham says, she's in the tent. And then now here's where the good part begins. Tells him, by this time next year, you and your wife Sarah will have a son. And Sarah was eavesdropping from the tent. She was very curious to hear what are these men saying, who are these men anyway. And when she heard that, she laughs. She says, such an old woman like me, who's past the age of bearing children, how can I even have a baby right now? How will I carry one? And my husband is so old. How are we going to have a baby? Surely. He asks Abraham, why is your wife Sarah laughing? And Sarah was so afraid. They must have questioned her. When she was asked, she said, I did not laugh. The angel of the Lord told Sarah, you laughed. And it reminds me, or I had this feeling that sometimes God is aware of our disbelief, is aware of the things that we go through. We shouldn't have to hide it from them. He knew that this was something out of the ordinary. He knew that people would doubt. But was there any need for Sarah to lie? The Lord asks, is there anything too hard for the Lord? And I loved this part. Is there anything too hard for the Lord? Imagine your grandmother at 90, at 100, giving birth. It would be a miracle. I still cannot imagine it. So they start heading out, and the 3 men look towards Sodom. And then the Lord asks himself, this man, should I tell him? Should I be open with him and tell him what is going to happen? He's going to be a great, the father of many nations. He'll have many descendants. What should I do? Finally, the Lord decides to tell Abraham, you know what? I have heard that Sodom and Gomorrah has a problem. The sin that is there is too much. So I'm going down there to see what is happening. If indeed they are wicked, and if not, then I will know. Abraham becomes curious. Hey Lord, so are you going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because they are wicked? But at this time, the 2 men leave and they continue towards Sodom. So Abraham starts questioning the Lord. will literally destroy them. Remember what? His nephew Lot lives just near Sodom and Gomorrah. Abraham tells him, but God, you are the Lord who does. You are the just God. You surely will not destroy the whole city even if you find a few righteous people, will you? If you find 50, will you destroy everyone, both the righteous and the wicked? The Lord tells him, no, if I find just 50, I will spare the whole city. Hey, Abraham is not satisfied. Allow me to speak one more time. What if you find 45? The angel tells him, I will still spare the city if I find 45. Abraham persists. My Lord, what if there are 40? The Lord is not tired. Abraham, I will spare the city if I find 40 righteous people. Abraham, at this point, I am just amused at this man, Abraham. But the Lord, I know I have disturbed you with so many questions, but let me just speak. What if you find 30? The Lord tells him, I will spare the city if I find 30. What about 20, my Lord? I will spare them, Abraham, if I find 20. What about 10? But what if they're just 10? Only 10. Will you also still spare them? Just for context, imagine the whole country of Kenya. We are several millions. Yeah? And imagine God wants to destroy Kenya because we are sinful people. But in this Kenya, there are those good people. So what if there are 5 people in Kenya who are righteous? Imagine if only 5 people are found to be righteous, Kenya will be spared. But it still doesn't make sense. Why would God want to save a whole nation where so many people are unrighteous and save it just because of the 5 righteous people? In any case, they should just perish. They are collateral damage. But God tells him, Abraham, even if I find 10 righteous people, I will surely not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. I will save the city. And Abraham was so persistent. Please, God, give me this persistent to always push and ask for things, for clarity. If you're not clear about things, go to the Lord, ask Him over and over again until your heart is at peace. This is what Abraham was doing, afraid and as whatever it was. I mean, asking questions all the time. Imagine that person who keeps on asking silly questions at the boardroom. Very annoying. But Abraham persists. God, will you save this city? God assures Abraham, I will surely save the city. And he goes. Afterwards, Abraham also returns to the tent. And I'm thinking, probably to give Sarah some gossip. That's just by the way I'm thinking. Sarah, Ebu, listen to what the Lord has told me. Sodom and Gomorrah is in trouble. Sodom and Gomorrah is in trouble. Let's find out what is going to happen to Sodom. Will God find some righteous people? So now, if the evening comes and the 2 angels who had left towards Sodom arrive at the entrance, they find Lot there. And Lot is very nice. Just like Abraham, welcomes, tells them, please, you can just come in and retire for the night. I'll give you water to wash your feet. And then tomorrow morning, you can continue the journey. But the angels refuse. They say, no, we'll just look for somewhere in the city and we'll sleep there. Lot insists, please just come in and rest for the night. Finally, they give in and Lot prepares a feast for them. Abraham and his family must have been very nice. Remember also when they were at Abraham's place, the way he worked together with his wife to prepare food together. Oh, they're so nice. I loved this. So they retire for the night and then pam, 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 pam. Open this door. These are the men from Sodom and Gomorrah. They're telling Lot, We want those men that you have brought inside your house. We want to have sex with them. Hey, where? Sodom and Gomorrah must have been wicked. If these are the things that they are telling Lot, I cannot believe them. Lot was so nice. He tells them, please, these are my visitors. I am here to protect them. If you indeed want to have sex, I have 2 virgin daughters. I can give them to you and you can have sex with them, please. But my visitors, just leave them. Okay, I'm still perturbed by these utterances, but back then it could have been normal. It was probably okay. And to Lot, it was maybe the lesser evil. Considering these were angels of the Lord, I do not know if Lot knew they were angels of the Lord, but probably considering how he welcomed them, probably some is intuition. The men insist, we want those men. In fact, who are you? What are you telling us? You are an outsider, you're coming here to act as if you're the judge for us. Get out of our way. Kwanza, we are going to treat you worse than we are going to treat those men. Get out of our way. We want those men. They want to break the door, but the angels of the Lord are listening, so they pull Lot back into the house and lock the door. And they make all the people outside go blind. So, of course, they stop trying to get inside. So the angels of the Lord ask Lot, now we are going to destroy this city. They have confirmed it is indeed wicked. But if you have any relatives, please tell them so that you can take your wife, your daughters, and together with any relative you have and get out of this city. Lot goes to their daughter's fiancés and tells them, please, let's hurry up, pack, we are going. The city is going to be destroyed. But it seemed like he was probably joking, so they didn't give him much attention. The next morning, the angels are insisting, Lord, do you have anyone? Now you have to get out of this city. We are going to destroy it. Lot is still hesitant. The angels literally had to take him by hand and force them out of the city. And while they were out of the city now, they told him, now, you, together with your family, run, escape to the mountains. And then we are going to destroy now Sodom and Gomorrah. But still Lot is disturbed, is uncomfortable. He tells the angel, but what if something happens to us up there in the mountains? What if we die there? We have escaped Sodom, but then we get to die in the mountains. Please, let us go to that small village down there. At least we'll be safe, we'll be okay. The angels say, okay, fine. You can go to that city. I will not destroy that city. Remember what Abraham had asked. Even if I find one righteous person, I will not destroy. For the sake of Lot and his family, that particular village was spared. And the angels tell them, you just, as you go, just run. Go and do not look backwards. Once they were out of the city, the Lord poured fire on Sodom and Gomorrah. It was burning like hell. And even the villages around it, all were destroyed except for the village where Lot and his family went. And I know it's human nature to be curious. What is happening? What is that? How are they being destroyed? And unluckily, Lot's wife decides, let me just peep. Maybe I can have a feel of what is happening. Looks behind and immediately she turns into a pillar of salt. Immediately turns into a pillar of salt. Abraham goes out. He must have seen the fire or the smoke. Goes out, looks down at Sodom and Gomorrah, and it is indeed being destroyed. But God had been faithful. God had heard his request. He had saved his nephew Lot. Abraham is consistently showing that I will protect my people. I will plead their case to my God, which he did for Lot and his family. Remember, he had the responsibility of taking care of him after his father died back in Ur. And even when he was captured, he pursued the kings and he was able to get them back. Now he knows the city is being destroyed, pleads his case to the Lord. Foolishly as it may seem, he doesn't care. He goes to plead his case and they are saved. What a man. What a man. If you're called Abraham, by the way, you are blessed. You're truly blessed. Now Lot and his family, except his wife who turned into a pillar of salt, have gone to the small village. It was called Zoar. But they are afraid of the people. They had been treated with hostility back in Sodom. And for some reason, they were afraid that they will not be happy in Zoar. So they go back to the mountains and they stay in the cave. They stay there, but at some point, the daughters are wondering, there are no men here, there are no people here. Who is going to marry us? How will we continue to preserve our family line? So they hatch a plan. Who's the man here? Our father, of course. Their father was the only man there. Imagine they planned to have sex with their father. Imagine. And the plan was to get him drunk and each sister would have a turn, sleep with him so that they could get pregnant. And that's exactly what happened. The first night, they make him drunk. The older sister goes in, has sex with his father, and the father is completely unaware. Next morning, tells the younger sister, I already had sex with him, so now next is your turn. They do the same thing, and the younger sister also gets pregnant. And their father is completely unaware because he's drunk. He is drunk. Another reason why we should not overindulge. You see, when we overindulge, our decisions we'll do things that we will regret later. Of course, he didn't know he was being set up, but now you see the effects of alcohol, overindulgence. It will make you things that you do that are despicable. They both get pregnant. The older sister gets a son, names him Moab, now the Moabites, and the younger sister also gets pregnant, calls her son Ben-Ami, who are now called the Amorites. But why would they do that? The Old Testament is just something else. There are some things that were happening there that were beyond understanding in this day and age. Why would you do that to your father? Is preserving a line so important? At that time, I know it was important for women to preserve their generation. But yeah, so that's what happened. I think I will stop here and then I will do part 3 where I will finish the story. We'll get to see. We have still not seen if Abraham and Sarah will get a baby. Remember, the angel has told them by this time next year. So let's see, by this time next year, will a son have arrived? Will they surely get a baby? I hope you enjoyed the story. See you next time. Have a lovely day.